So let us solve one problem on this collector catching diodes. So here the given data is that HFE minimum is given by 40, VCC 18, VBB 6, and RC is 1.5, R1 5 kilo ohm, R2 25 kilo ohms, and that voltage V is given by 6 volts. V is also given by 6 volts. V is also 6 volts. And neglect drop across junctions. Find out stable state. First question is find out stable state currents and voltages, and second one is what is the maximum load driven by the multivibrator still maintaining one transistor in cutoff while the other is in saturation. So let us see how it, how it works. So now here let us assume one stable state. Assume one stable state. So what I am assuming is Q1 is in off state. It's our wish. Q1 is in off state and Q2 is in on state. So once when I say Q1 is in off state, one should think about the collector current entering into IC1, that is 0, and IB1 0. That means here the current entering into IC1 will be 0 as I assumed Q1 is in off state, and the current entering here also IB1 0. And when one say Q1 is in on state, one should think about this collector voltage VC1, that will be VCE saturation, and here in this problem I assume to neglect the drop, so that is 0 volts. Similarly, the base voltage VB2 is equal to VBE saturation, and that is 0 volts. And once if it is true, then immediately here the voltage at this collector VC1 will be approximately equal to VCC, because a small amount of current flows. Of course the drop across this RC can be neglected. Once if the voltage over here it is VCC, this is the higher potential, and here voltage V is 6 volts. Given VCC is 18 volts, V is given by 6 volts. So here approximately this is 18, approximately this is 6 volts. So the diode will act as forward bias, it act like short circuit. So now D1 will become forward bias. So again here this is 6 volts, and here it is 0.0 volts because VCE saturation is 0 volts. So automatically this diode will become reverse bias. So D2 is reverse bias. So now let us draw the diagram as D1 is forward biased and D2 is reverse bias. Yes. This collector voltage is now clamped to V volts, that is equal to 6 volts. Okay. Now let us assume the current flowing through this is I1. What happens? This I1 now at this node will be divided between, as IC1 is 0, no current will enter into this transistor, but this I1 may be divided into this circuit, right? As let us assume it is a diode current ID, and some current may be enter into it as, let's say I3, or let's say I2. Let's say the current entering to this is I2. So here what I can say is I1 is divided as ID plus I2, right? So now this I2 will be divided between these two branches, as here it is IB2 actual, and here let's say the current over here it is I3. So this I2 will be divided as I3 plus IB2 actual. Okay, now let us assume the current flowing through this as I4. Now what happens here? The current flowing here it is, let's say IC2, as it is in saturation, it is an on state, the current flowing to it is IC2. So let's say here the current flowing here it is, let us assume it as I5. So this is R1. Okay, now I4 is simply IC2 plus I5. Now let's say, now what happens, see here this I5 will come to this point, and here no current is entering to base of the first transistor, complete I5 will move to R2 only, because IB1 is 0. These are the current distributions across this circuit. Once if it is done, we can easily calculate the stable state voltages and currents. Yeah. So I assumed one stable state, that is Q1 of Q2 on. Now let us calculate what is I1. So I1 is given by here I know the value of VCC, and here I know the value of VC1, that is V volts. So I1 is VCC minus VC1 divided by RC. So that is VCC is 18 minus VC1 is 6 divided by RC is given by 1.5K. So that is 12 divided by 1.5K. So that is equal to 8 milliamps. Okay, now we got I1 as 8 milliamps we got. Okay, now try to calculate I2. So what is I2? Here I know the value of VC1. I know the value of VC1. So again I know the value of VB2, right? So I2 is given by VC1 minus VB2 divided by the resistance is R1. So it is R1. So VC1 is 6 volts minus VB2 is 0 divided by R1 is given by 5 kilo ohms. So it is 1.2 milliamps, 6 by 5. Okay, once if I know the value of I2, here I can apply KVL at VC1, KCL at VC1, KCL at VC1. What happens? See, I1 is entering, ID is leaving, I2 is leaving. So from this, what I can write is I1 is equal to ID plus I2. From this, ID is given by I1 minus I2. So that means the current ID is equal to I1 is 8 milliamps, 8 milli minus I2 is 1.2 milliamps. So it is approximately equal to 6.8 milliamps. So I know the value of I2, it is 1.2 milliamp, and the value of the current ID is given by 6.8 milliamps. Okay, now let us calculate I3. Because VB2 is fixed, VBB is fixed, we can easily calculate the value of I3. So now let us calculate I3. So I3 is a current which is flowing in this R2 resistor. So I know the value of VB2, we know the value of VBB. So the potential, the voltage is given by I3 is VB2 minus of minus VBB divided by R2. So VB2 is 0, minus of minus, okay, it is plus. VBB is given by 6 divided by R2 is given by 25 kilo ohms. So that is 6 divided by 25, 1 by 4, 0.24 milliamps. 0.24 milliamps. Okay, I know the value of I3. Here I know the value of I2. So if I apply KCL at VB2, I will be calculate what is the actual current flowing into that base of the second transistor. Now KCL at VB2. So I2 is entering. I know this value. I3 is leaving. IB2 actual is also leaving. So IB2 actual. So from this, IB2 actual is given by I2 minus I3. I know the value of I2. So IB2 actual is given by I2 is given by 1.2 milliamps minus I3 is given by 0.24 milliamps. So it is approximately IB2 actually is 0.96 milliamps. This is the actual current flowing into the transistor. Now calculate I4. So I4 is given by, as usual, VCC is known, VC1 is known. So I4 is given by I4 is equal to VCC minus VC1, VCC minus VC1. VC1 is 0. So I4 is equal to VCC minus VC1 divided by resistance RC. So VCC is 18, VC1 is 0, divided by RC is 1.5K. So 18 by 1.5. So it is approximately 12 milliamps. So again here also I came to know that I4 is equal to 12 milliamps. Okay, now let us calculate this I5. We know VC1, we know VBB, the same current is flowing through this whole branch. So what I can apply? I5 is given by, because no current is entering into this base of first transistor, complete current will flow to this. So I5 is equal to VC1 minus of minus VBB divided by R1 plus R2. VC1 is 0 plus VBB is 6 divided by R1 is 5K plus R2 is 25K. So 6 by 30, 1 by 5, 6 by 30K. So 1 by 5. So it is 0.2 milliamps. Okay, even this value we came to know. So I5 is 0.2 milliamps. 0.2 milliamps. Okay, all the currents are known. Now let us go for the voltage, or we'll calculate what is the saturation current. Saturation current over here. So that is okay. Now calculate IC1. We are left with IC1, IC2, sorry, IC2. So if I apply KCL at VC1, KCL at VC1, that is what I can say is I4 is equal to I5 and IC2 are leaving. So I5 plus IC2, from this IC2 is equal to I4 minus I5. The value of I4 is 12 milliamps. So IC2 is saturation current, I can say. IC2 is 12 milli minus I5 is 0.2 milliamps. So it is 11.8 milliamps. This is the saturation current. Now, as I know the saturation current, let us calculate IB2 minimum current. That is the minimum current required to make the transistor saturation. So IB2 minimum current is given by, so IB2 minimum current is given by IC2 saturation current I by HFE minimum. So it is 11.8 divided by HFE minimum given 40. So it is approximately 0.29 milliamps. So IB2 minimum required current, to make Q2 saturation, Q2 saturation is 0.29 milliamps. But actual current flowing is what? Actual current flowing is how much? IB2 actual previously we got is, I think it is 0.96 milliamps, right? IB2 actually is 0.96 milliamps, we already calculated. So IB2 actually is 0.96 milli. So IB2 actually is greater than IB2 minimum, because the minimum required current is only 0.29. That is sufficient to make Q2 saturation, but actually flowing is greater than that, the required current. So obviously so I can say that Q2 is in saturation, no doubt. So Q2 is in saturation. Now let us calculate. Okay, once if I got to know that Q2 is saturation, let us calculate the status of Q1. So to know the status of Q1, we must know the value of VB1 over here. If VB1 is negative, which in turns we come to know that Q1 will be in cutoff. Let us calculate that. Right. Now we shall calculate what is VB1. So if I apply KVL, from VC1 to VB1 through this branch, so that is VC1 is equals to I5R1 plus VB1. So from this VB1 is equal to VC1 minus I5 into R1. I5 is 0.2 milliamps, VC1 is 0 minus 0.2 milli into R1 is 5K. So it is approximately, I mean, it is 1 volt. So VB1 is equal to minus 1 volt. That means VB1 is negative value, which in turn say that Q1 is in cutoff. So that is the thing. So I think we got to know each and every value. So the other question I asked you to find is what is the load, maximum load driven by this transistor, still maintaining one in cutoff, the other one is in saturation. So that could be the worst case. Let us see that. Okay. So here the question is what is the maximum load the bistable can drive, still maintaining one transistor in saturation, other in cutoff. So here if I attach a load over here, the states of these two transistors should not alter. So what is the load can be driven by this transistor without changing its states? That is the question. So here in this worst case, what I can assume is, so that is the problem with the last class, right? So here because to drive the load here, I made the current to enter into is IB2 minimum by making this transistor Q2 it at edge. So here in this worst case, I can assume is the diode current which is entering over here, we can make to enter into this load. So here in the worst case, we can assume the current entering to this is ID, the diode current. So it is RL. So the solution in the worst case, IL, the load current is equals to the diode current. So here the voltage is what? VC1 is equal to V volts. So the diode current ID, we know is how much? 6.8 milliamps. So RL is given by VC1 divided by ID, that is V divided by ID. So 6 divided by 6.8 milli. So it is approximately 0.88 kilo ohms.